All right, man. We are live and back at it for solo session number 3. First two topics I thought were dope, and it's cool to do those topics. I got some good feedback from my parents and just people in my family about the new arrangement, just because it's so different than the normal arrangement when I got the guys with me. So that was much appreciated, and I'm gonna keep going with this because I'm having fun with it. It's almost it's therapeutic, man. Today was long, or it felt long. It really wasn't even that long. I only worked like 9.5, and I would say on average I probably do 11 hours. But today, just man, it's Friday. You ready for the week to be over? I wasn't too far, but I was probably 35 minutes away from the shop. So it just seemed like today dragged, man. So I'm happy I'm at home, done with the week. So I'm just ready to relax, man, and just have a chill weekend, man. The Pack play tonight. So go Packers. Trying to do something against these Eagles, and that's gonna be tough because I like the Eagles. But I think it should be a good game. I'm excited to just hang out with the fam. Probably gonna get some fish after this too, man. We ain't had fish in a while. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to just chilling and just relaxing and kind of restoring myself so I can get back to it Monday. My girls ain't feeling the best, so dealing with them too. So, but anyways, like I said before, I'm a Christian man. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. So when I was just thinking about certain topics that I could do for this show, and this topic came to mind because I watch a lot of Christian YouTubers. Amongst other things I watch on YouTube, I do watch some Christian YouTubers. Them and along with other pastors too that I've just noticed in the church. And after just watching certain things, it came into my mind as to when is the line drawn for people to stop making money off the church and off of God. Where is the line that's drawn? Okay, I'll take this much to preach, but in terms of getting millions or getting this much money, I can't, in all good conscience, I can't take that. I wasn't called to preach to make money. And I don't want to use this pulpit as a play to make money. So I'm curious to know, where is the line that's drawn in the sand with some of these preachers and YouTube content creators, even though in them, so we're like, okay, I'm not in it for this. I know this opportunity could be lucrative, but I'm not in it for this. Because I always wondered, my personal opinion on it, I feel like if somebody is in it for the right reasons, I was called to preach the word of God, and that is my sole mission, to preach the gospel and save souls. And because I'm doing the job that I'm doing, membership is up, giving is up, and the church receives a certain amount of money. I can't control that, but I don't know. That's tough. I feel like, me personally, I don't feel as though pastors should get to the point where they expected millions per year in their pockets. It's one thing to, want the church to expand and want to see growth occur and resources come in, and you can utilize those resources to grow the body, grow the church, grow outreach. All that is cool. I'm not talking about that though. I'm talking about, last year I did 500,000. This year I'm trying to do 750. And next year I'm trying to do 1 million in my personal pockets. Is that ever on the hearts of preachers? And I don't know the inner workings of how salaries are dished out to pastors. I know some pastors, have their houses paid for by the church, but there are some pastors who are vocational. I think that's what it's called. or Bicast, something like that, where they preach and they work. So I'm just curious to know what's the balance between pastors wanting to grow their church and also pastors wanting to get compensated. Because I don't feel like any pastor should preach the word of God, be working 7 days a week and get in nothing. You know, I feel like that's unfair. You know, you dedicated yourself to this. You should be taken care of. But I do feel like there's a line. My line is when I wake up and I'm thinking about money. I'm not thinking about how can I move God's kingdom if I'm a pastor. Money should be the last thing on my mind. And in terms of YouTube content creators, I was thinking about this the other day because I know you're not going on YouTube not to make money. That's just a fact. Like I like doing these vent sessions. I like the podcast. I like discussions. I like all of that. But a part of a reason I'm doing this is to be monetized and make some money. Like I make money driving a truck. I make money cutting hair. It would be nice to make money off YouTube and have, just extra streams of income coming in. I have 2 kids. I have a mortgage. I have a wife. It would help to have some extra money. But in terms of how I make my money, I don't feel no type of just confliction because I'm in it for the money. I drive a truck to make money. I cut hair to make money. I want to do YouTube. I want to do YouTube to put out positive content with like-minded people who are my age, part of the church, work everyday jobs, former athletes, but want to hear the perspective of somebody like them. I'm for that, but I also want to make some bread. But I feel like when you call to do something greater, and I consider YouTube content, if you're making Christian content to save souls, I feel like money should not be a priority in that. And when I see certain YouTube content creators, trying to sell merch and push books and all of that, it just made me think like, y'all making more money off Jesus than Jesus made himself. That's just the honest draw from it. Like, I'm curious to know what's the line for y'all, because you guys are way different than pastors. But what's the line? Because I definitely feel making content, coming down and putting time and energy into making a video, shooting a show, and getting paid off that. I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with that, whether it be Christian content or not. But when you're trying to sell merch through that, I don't know. That is a tough one. I will almost have to sit down with a Christian YouTuber and ask them, like, when create some of this merch, what's the goal? Because you're not just doing it to spread the word, because you can spread the word with your mouth, So what's the point of is the merch just solely to make money? So I don't know. I was always curious about that. I don't know. Like, it's a tough conversation, and I feel like it's almost hard to have it without offending somebody because you don't know everybody's heart. You don't know the motivation behind them making merch or trying to sell certain things on their channel. I don't know they finances. I don't know what their family's looking like. So I can't just judge, but there is also a piece of my spirit that kind of my eyebrows raise a little bit when I do see that. Because I feel like nowadays with the prosperity gospel and money being pushed so hard in the church, oh, if you give this tithe, God is going to bless you and multiply it and press down, shaking together, running over, all that stuff, man. It's hard to kind of decipher what's genuine and what's a play, what's a scam. And stuff like that can like kind of detract people from wanting to just go to church because they don't want to deal with the foolishness. I know, well, my family, this is kind of a little off topic, but we were going to a certain church before the pandemic. And then when we moved out of that area. That was like 4 years ago. We still haven't found a church home. Now we watch Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship online. Shout out to Tony Evans and that whole crew. We like that service, but we still haven't been able to find a church home in Milwaukee that we feel comfortable going to. And just some of the things I mentioned kind of play a role, and just trusting that this church can feed you spiritually and they got good intentions behind everything that they can do. So I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. I'm not saying pastors have to take a vow of poverty like certain Catholic priests do, but I don't know. Some of it is a little over the top. Now, I will say this. If you are a pastor and you preaching, but you also got a job outside of that where you make a lot of money, I don't think it's anything wrong with that. Because pastors have families, they got responsibilities they got to take care of. So I understand that, man. I got to work. I'm called to preach the word of God, but I don't want to use that as a means to support my lifestyle. I worked hard. I learned how to do something. I'm gonna do that, and then on the other side, I'm gonna preach. So I applaud that. And I feel like more pastors should do that because now it separates the two. Now nobody can ever say, oh, you just preaching and collecting offerings just so you can make some money. You done collected 5 offerings in the service today. It's none of that. Like, I don't take a dime from the church. I work a job on the side. I pay all my bills through this job, and I don't take a dime from the church. I applaud that and to salute that. But I don't look down on pastors who take who take a salary from the church. Like I said, you sometimes there's 7 days a week and you dedicating all of this time to the church. You should be compensated. But there is a line to be drawn, and I'm curious to know from different pastors, different YouTube creators, what's the line? For example, like I got a Nipsey Hussle picture and a Kobe Bryant picture over there, Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali picture over there. What if I was to, okay, I want to make shirts one day. I don't know any of those men personally, but I'm going to use their image to put on a shirt to make some bread. I don't know their families. I don't know I don't know them at all, but I'm using their image to make money. Should I have to give the families of those men some of that money? I don't know them, but I'm using an image. And that's kind of how I look at it when some of the YouTube content creators try to sell shirts, try to sell notebooks and journals and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, like, are you guys taking some of that money and donated it? And you might be. You might be. I'm not assuming or saying that you don't. You might be. But just from the outside looking in, it just looks like you're using God's name to push a product to make some money. That's what it looks like to me. And in some cases that could be the case. In others, they could be like, no, man, I sell this merch to provide meals for the homeless. Or I sell this merch and I donate it to this school who's underfunded. So I don't know. But just from, like I said, the outside looking in, when you don't know those details, that's what it looked like to me. I know me personally, I wouldn't want to sell any Jesus merch. I wouldn't want to make any money off of God. Now, if I'm blessed because I'm a pastor, somebody blesses me with something, and okay, that's one thing. But I would never, in my mind, I'm gonna come up with a plan. I'm gonna put a cross on the shirt. I'm gonna sell it, and I'm trying to make $2,000 off these shirts. Like, nah, because now I'm using that to profit, and spreading the gospel isn't the main focus. I'm just thinking about bread, and I feel like that's a problem. Like the love of money, The root of evil is the love of money. And there's too many people now who show more love for money than they do God. And that's the problem with the church. That's why a lot of people are not going to church. A lot of people feel scammed at church when they have to give an offering, giving tithes, because they see certain pastors flying around on jets, staying in mansions, having fancy cars, and these people could barely pay their rent. Barely put food in the fridge, and they seeing these pastors living it up. Who wouldn't raise an eyebrow to that? Like, honestly, like, I'm trying to give my money, to God because He commands us to do so. But at the same time, I see these pastors, it look like they pocketing my money. Just being real. So, what's the balance? I would love to get on the phone with a pastor or a content creator who makes Christian content and just, pick their brain. Because I don't know. I only can, assume and judge certain things and have discernment. Because some cases are clear cut. When you go to your congregation and say, y'all need to finance a jet for me, okay. You can put two and two together. But if you go to your congregation and you saying that I want to start this foundation or I want to help out this community that's underserved and we need to raise this amount for this, that's different. That's totally different. But at the end of the day, I feel like praying to God and just being discerning, I feel like you will get the answers in your heart in terms of wanting to give, not wanting to give. But yeah, man, that was just on my mind. Cause in the truck, I watch a lot of YouTube and just content just to keep my mind, occupied sometimes. And I don't know, it's just some of the stuff I saw just kind of I don't know about that. So I'm gonna definitely send this video out to some pastors and some content creators and just get their feedback on it. Cause I would love to have that conversation. I would love it. But I hope y'all have a good weekend, man. Stay blessed. Packers play today, man. I hope they do some work, man. But man, thank you again. Y'all take it easy.